friends, I'm Elise and welcome to a new reading vlog. This reading vlog has been a long time coming. This is the reading vlog where I read books for 3 different readathons that took place in the middle of September. And that was the Sleep When I'm Dead readathon, hosted by Reading with Jess, the Losers Club readathon, hosted by Reading Riley, Beth Sell Booked, and Ashley's Little Library, as well as the Upside Down readathon, hosted by Bookphoria, Liv's Library, Naomi's Library, and Sorry Book Solid. The reason this vlog is so incredibly late at being posted is because I had to edit it 3 different times, or I had to start editing it 3 different times. I had some technical difficulties with my laptop, finally got it finished. So that is why it is so late. I do apologize. Hopefully this is still relevant. If not, at the very least, I did read some good books in this vlog. So the Sleep When I'm Dead readathon, there were 3 prompts: your favorite color on the cover, a book recommended to you, and a past book club pick. For the Losers Club readathon, we had to read a book that was influenced by BookTok or BookTube, a book with an isolated setting, a paranormal or supernatural book, a buddy read or buddy movie watch, a book with a female main character, and a book with a one-word title. There were a couple bonus prompts as well, which I did not participate in. And for the Upside Down readathon, the prompts were to read a book with food on the cover, read a book that takes place during fall or Halloween, read a book with nostalgic vibes, read a book with a haunted house, and read a host buddy read based on your favorite character. Okay, let's jump in. Good morning, friends. Today is day 2 of the Sleep When I'm Dead readathon and the Losers Club readathon. So far, I've only started one book, and that is The Broken Girls by Simone St. James. I'm about 19% of the way into The Broken Girls. I think it's just for the Sleep When I'm Dead readathon, because I am doubling up on a lot of these prompts because there's 3 different readathons in the span of a week. So I don't have the time to do one book for every prompt. But The Broken Girls is for past book club pick or Sleep When I'm Dead, and Jessie actually confirmed that The Broken Girls was the first ever book club pick that she did for her book club. But it's also a book that was recommended to me by a friend for the 12 books by 12 friends recommendations that we do over on Bookstagram at the beginning of the year. So far, I'm liking it. It is very atmospheric. So there's 2 different timelines. There's a past timeline in 1950 at Idlewild, which is a boarding school for girls. There are 4 different girls that we have met. There's Katie, Cece, Sonia. Oh dear, I can't remember the other girl. But they're all at this boarding school for not a great reason, I guess, and we're starting to learn bit by bit why they were sent there. There's this ghost story going around the boarding school of Mary Hand, and she's this ghost. You can hear her singing in the woods. You can hear her tapping on the windows. The story goes that she somehow got locked out in the winter. Apparently she freezes to death or gets lost or something like that. But that's so far the story of the ghost, and these girls they kind of each have had their own run-in with the ghost. It's very atmospheric. The 1950 portion is taking place, as of right now, taking place in October in Vermont. So peak fall vibes. I'm loving it. And then in the present day, we have Fiona. She's a journalist, and her father was like a famous investigative journalist in their area. Well, her sister was murdered 20 years ago, and her body was found on the grounds of this boarding school, which has been closed now for 30-40 years. It kind of sounds like Fiona is not satisfied with the outcome of that murder investigation. As I said, the school has been closed for like 30-40 years. Well, somebody recently bought it and is trying to renovate it and reopen it as an all-girls boarding school. Fiona is starting to investigate this. The part that I finished off with last night, she was doing a tour of the building with like the son of this really old lady who bought the boarding house. I'm liking it so far. I'm really liking the writing, and it's funny because it hops back and forth between chapters of being in the present timeline, which is like 2014, and then the past timeline. And I get so attached to the timeline that I'm reading because the chapters are on the longer side, and I'm getting so attached to the chapter that I'm reading that by the time I'm done with that chapter, onto the next chapter, and I see that it's the other timeline, it's like I almost get frustrated for a second, but then I very quickly kind of get back into the timeline that I'm reading. And Fiona's boyfriend is a cop, and he's like from a long line of cops. Like his dad was a cop, his dad's dad was a cop. I find that interesting that like he comes from a line of cops and she comes from a line of journalists. It might just be her dad that was a journalist, but you know, regardless, the field that they are in is a field that their parent was in as well. It ties them even further to the history of this place. Today's Saturday the 16th. I Don't have any plans until later this evening, so I have like 5 hours. I did some planning for my channel. I'm trying to get a stricter schedule for vlogging just so I'm not kind of flying by the seat of my pants like I have been so far. I do obviously want to read. I want to read The Broken Girls, but then I also probably want to get started on one of the other books that I'm going to be reading that I actually have an audiobook for, because I only have audiobooks for 2 and then 3 I don't. And then later Nick is working, but later on tonight, we're going over to his parents. I think the Michigan State. Where's my phone? It's not Michigan State. That's a big game, but that is not today. It looks like tonight is Michigan versus Bowling Green. And we are Michigan fans in this household. Yeah, we're going to go over to his parents. I'm going to read as much as I can. I probably should also edit. I have a couple of videos in the works right now that are fully filmed. I'm just in the process of editing them. And then I need to shower and get ready. Hello. Good morning. Well, it's afternoon. Yesterday, we went to Nick's parents for dinner, euchre, and football. I did not watch much football. I brought my Kindle, so I was just reading more of The Broken Girls. Actually, I have a few updates for you because I started 2 more books. As far as The Broken Girls, I am on chapter 14, page 133. I'm liking it. I'm not loving it. Still really enjoying the atmospheric, spooky nature of the story. I think I'm a little bit bored. I guess long story short, I'm enjoying it. It's not screaming 5 stars to me at this point, but I am liking it. Just to spice things up a little bit, I did also start The Haunting of Hill House last night. I didn't get super far because I was actually really tired. I'm on chapter 3 now. I have not seen the new show, but I have heard that the show is vastly different than the book. However, the movie that I grew up watching, The Haunting, with Liam Neeson, Owen Wilson, Catherine Zeta-Jones, supposedly the movie is pretty similar to the book. And so far, I'm enjoying the book. A couple differences. Obviously, Eleanor, I saw myself in her like a lot. So first of all, she's 32, I'm 33. Without ever wanting to become reserved and shy, she had spent so long alone with no one to love that it was difficult for her to talk even casually to another person without self-consciousness and an awkward inability to find words. That's not me in the sense like I'm lonely in the regard of love and relationships. It's more like, I guess, friendship. I got burned pretty bad by 3 different friends, like late high school, early college. So naturally that just kind of, made it hard for me to trust people. Between that and being a single mom, I work full time. I have 2 kids to take care of and not a whole lot of free time to like get out of the house if I'm not doing stuff with family. As far as the awkward conversations go, I am so socially awkward and I'm the kind of person that like I will dwell on something. If I say something to somebody and I feel like it, I don't know, didn't come across how I wanted, or I was stumbling over my words, or I was speaking too quickly and didn't really have a chance to fully think my thoughts before I say them, I will dwell on that for literal days and it will eat me up inside and I will never want to speak again. That's the nice thing about vlogging, because I can edit the crap out of my social awkwardness and come out sounding like a semi-normal human being. So yeah, not super far in this. This is actually for all 3 readathons. The other book that I started reading this morning is Cackle by Rachel Harrison. This one is just for the Upside Down readathons. I'm starting a day early on that one. I have the audiobook for Cackle and I was cleaning the house a little bit this morning. When I got up, I made my coffee, had some breakfast, and did some cleaning. I wanted to start something that had the audio so that I could listen to that while I was being productive. I think I'm enjoying this so far. I got pretty decent chunk read. I'm on page 117. This book follows Annie, and she is in the process of relocating to a small town. She and her boyfriend, they'd been together for like 10 years. He kind of decided that it wasn't a relationship that he was interested in being in any longer. He kind of felt like they were better as friends. Annie then takes this opportunity to move to this small town. She's a teacher and she takes a job teaching at the school there. And it's like this cute, cozy, quaint little town. She's renting a room in this house and she hasn't met the woman that she's renting her room from. She just, kind of assumes that she's a real person. But she comes across this woman called Sophie. And Sophie is like this ethereal personality. She kind of latches onto Annie, honestly, and kind of takes her under her wing. They grab coffee at this farmer's market and Sophie's just kind of showing her around, introducing her to some of the other local people. Everybody knows Sophie. They seem happy to see her and they're always willing to do her favors. I don't know. I don't know if I trust Sophie at this point. We haven't really necessarily been given a reason not to trust her. I have this inkling for some reason that I don't know what to think. I really don't. There's some spooky things going on. This book is considered a horror but I have heard it be referred to as a cozy horror, and I would say that's definitely true. It's not your typical horror. I mean, there's a couple gross things, and there's definitely some spooky things that happen as well, which I'm liking. I have absolutely no idea where this is going, but I am very intrigued. I'm really liking the audiobook, and I love this cover too. I think the audiobook says I have like 2.5 hours left. I should be able to finish it today, honestly. I'm probably going to go to town. I need to fill up my gas tank for the week, and I want to get some coffee from Starbucks. Then I'll get home, eat my lunch, and probably read some more, and then, I don't know, just keep watching Stranger Things. I'm doing my rewatch, and I am on season 2 now. I think like maybe the 3rd episode, I want to say. But, oh, my washer's done, so I have to put clothes in the dryer, and then I'm going to go to town. Okay. I got bangs. It looked really cute yesterday. Of course, it always looks cute, like when you leave the salon, because she put like some curls in it. Yeah, it's totally flat now. And lightened it up, so got to cover my grays. It's very different. I like it. I think it's cute. It's definitely a mom cut. When my kids got off the bus yesterday, my oldest is like, "What happened to you?" Anyways, I just finished Cackle. I liked it. So I think overall, I'm going to be giving this 4 stars. It's not that I have issues with the story itself. It's kind of the fact that the story revolves so much around a man, or like having, I don't know. It does and it doesn't. Let's just say that. Really, the big overall message, you are a complete person as you are. You don't need anybody else to complete you. You don't need anybody's approval to do anything. It is your life, your choice. You do you. That was kind of like the main point of this book. Like all the witchy stuff, all the spooky stuff, all of the so-called horror was very light in comparison to that. So I think more than anything, this is labeled as a horror or a fantasy horror. It's kind of like women's fiction, honestly, just because it focuses so much on the issues of women dating and being in your 30s and relationships and things like that, which isn't bad. If you're looking for something to be really, really witchy, this probably isn't what you're looking for. It does have some witchy stuff. It does have some spooky stuff. There's an adorable spider named Ralph, which steals the show, in my opinion. I'm glad that I didn't read this looking for those witchy vibes because it didn't have a whole lot of that. I am still working. I'm at the tail end of my lunch break. Right now, I am still making my way through The Broken Girls, even though that is for the Sleep When I'm Dead readathon, which ended on Sunday. It is now Tuesday. I read this a little bit at the salon yesterday because I had to sit and let my hair process when I had the foils in. I'm still not quite 50% of the way through that. It's still feeling a little slow. I mean, things are happening, don't get me wrong. I'm still enjoying the atmosphere, still enjoying the writing. It's just a little bit slower paced than I think that I need right now. And I haven't touched this one since I picked it up the other night and read the first few chapters. So I did start reading Bunny last night. I think Bunny is for both the Upside Down Readathon and the Losers Club. I'm like 80 pages in, I think. And so far, Samantha is in this MFA program at a prestigious university. I don't know if it's Ivy League or not, but it's New England, it's fall, so the fall vibes are there. Samantha and her friend up until this point have almost laughed at the bunnies and just like how weird that they are. Like they're always hugging each other. I'm listening to the audiobook as well, not on its own. I'm tandem reading. I felt like I needed like 150% of my attention on this book. Even the audiobook, when they're speaking for one of the bunnies, the narrator speaks in like this really high, airy, breathy, girly kind of voice. It's weird. Out of nowhere, Samantha gets this invite to attend the bunny smut salon. And even after seeing the smut salon on page, I still don't know what's going on. That's hilarious. I did not realize that Lena Dunham was blurbed on the front of this, because as I'm reading this, I'm thinking of Lena Dunham's character in Girls when she's doing like her writing program. The book is very literary, and we're in the mind of Samantha, and she's going about her days, talking about things, and like something will happen, and then we'll like go into her mind for 2 or 3 pages, rehashing memories, and she's showing us or telling us about these memories of something that happened before. So it's in the present, but we're getting a lot of past events being shown to us or told to us. Because of that, it almost feels like it's slow moving, because it's like we'll be brought into like this memory, and then when she's done going on about this memory, it's like, okay, now we're back in the present. And then something else will be talked about, and then we'll go back into another memory. So it's like, it feels like one scene takes a really long time to get through. Honestly, it's like a weird, okay, Alice in Wonderland is a trippy movie to begin with, but if you combine that with Mean Girls, that's kind of the vibe. Like, because we have like this group of girls that like everybody kind of like knows about, and the main character knows about, and then the main character kind of gets initiated into the group a little bit. So that's kind of where the Mean Girls vibes are coming. I don't really know what I'm thinking at this point. This is the first time I've read Mona Awad, so this is my first exposure to her writing. Also too, they name drop Kate Bush. It says Kate Bush roaring from every speaker, and Kate Bush sings Running Up the Hill song that was popular in Stranger Things season 4. So I was like, oh, that's really fitting that I'm reading it for the Upside Down Readathon. I still have not read any more of The Haunting of Hill House. Also have not made any progress in The Broken Girls. Anyways, that's where I'm at. It's about 3:45. I'm still working. My kids get home from school in about 45 minutes. Yeah, that's it for now. Okay, bye. What was that? I don't know. How's it going? It is Thursday. I just got done with work and I'm very cranky. I'm hangry. I need to eat something. But I wanted to give you a little bit of an update. So yesterday after work, I went to town, had to run some errands. I went to Hobby Lobby, got some things for my kids' room. I had to go to a grocery store, get some groceries for the weekend. And then I went to Home Goods to look at their Halloween stuff. I liked a lot of the things that I saw, but not enough for me to get it. While I was in town running errands, I started listening to Whispering Pines, which is one of the buddy reads for the Upside Down Readathon. It was Liv's pick to go along with the character of Hopper, and I'm a Hopper girly, so I wanted to give that book a try. I got about not quite 40% of the way into it, and I have DNF'd it. I think there were like 3 different points of view, maybe more. There was just a lot going on. So there's this one girl who just moved to town, and her dad has like this weird job, or he's connected to this company in some weird way, and he's disappeared. She believes very strongly that her dad was taken or abducted. Everybody else kind of just assumes that he up and left, that he abandoned his family. There's another point of view where this boy, his brother, he like fell victim to this creature that attacks kids and takes their eyes like right out of their head. And then another character, this actually might be the same character as the one whose brother was attacked, but I think it's a different character. But his family is like, they're paranormal investigators. He caught his mom doing like blood magic at one point. So definitely a lot going on. And it just, I don't know, it wasn't clicking for me. I didn't feel attached to the plot at all. And I didn't really care what the outcome's going to be. So I did put that down. I did read more Funny today on my lunch break. I'm now on part 2, which is here. So I'm on chapter 16, page 135. It's definitely very strange. I'm to the point now where I know what the bunny's workshop is, and it's strange, and I'm very interested to see the reasoning behind this and an explanation as to how what they're doing is even possible. I'm very curious. I don't know that I'm liking the book at this point. And I'm also confused like what time period this takes place in, because a lot of the music that they're referencing is from, I think, the 80s. So I'm like, okay, maybe this is all in the 80s. But at the same time, Samantha, the main character, she's texting on her cell phone. So I'm like, well, not in the 80s. But why, if this is present day or whatever year this book came out, why are they only playing music from like the 80s? I have questions that I need answered. I finished this. Can you see me? It's really dark. Okay. I'm thinking that I'm not the intended audience for this book. I really don't know what I read. There were a couple times that I thought that not that I knew where this was going, certainly not, but that I felt like maybe I had an idea of where the inspiration was coming from. I've heard people say, the people that liked this, they think it's genius. So to me, that says that there's a meaning behind this. There were a few times that I thought maybe I understood what the inspiration was, but by the end, I honestly have no idea. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go on YouTube and I'm going to watch a couple of videos of like Bunny Explained and then see if that changes my perception of the story at all. I'm not thinking that it will, because regardless of how genius this is, I didn't enjoy my read. The first part, I think I enjoyed. And then after that, it just kind of, it lost me. I'm going to go watch those videos. Right now, I'm thinking 2 stars. I still don't get it. I mean, I get it. I don't get people enjoying it, I guess. I feel like this book is for people who maybe like majored in English Lit and is very trained in literary analysis, because in general, I think I'm a fairly smart person. However, I am more scientifically minded. So anything having to do with like the arts, deep dives into the analyses of different artistic works, that's not how my brain works. It's just, I don't get it. It's over my head. When I read a book, I want it to be an escape. Okay. I want there to be good characters, good plot. I want a story to draw me in. This was not that. Bunny is the type of story, isn't just the story. It has other things to say, whether that's about society, whether it's about the life of an academic, whatever it may be. When a book is more than just a book, I feel like that's not something that's for me. If I had known going in everything else, like all the metaphor, all the social commentary, all of the deeper themes of this book, if I had known that it was going to be like that, would I have read it? Probably not. Moving forward, I'm probably going to have to reevaluate my TBR. Yeah, it's 2 stars. It's 2 stars. That was a fun trip. Oh, okay, bye. So today I am going to be reading The Haunting of Hill House. I actually found kind of an audiobook of it on YouTube, so I'm going to sit down and read along with that today. But I got a delivery today, so I thought I would unbox it with you. In case you don't know who she is, here is her contact info. I have a lot of her Kindles, and they just bring me joy, you know? I'm so excited. So this one is A Court of Mist and Fury. Oh, that smells good. This one is Amber and Oud. Holy cow, I can smell this one through. This one is Blood Orange and Hot Steel. I'm going to save this one for when I read A Court of Silver Flames, which I'm doing very soon. The Night Court. It smells good. Valaris. This one is Amber, Patchouli, and Vetiver. Oh, that smells interesting. It's like slightly spicy, which I didn't expect. Day and Night. Spearmint and Woods. Oh my gosh. That smells interesting too. I feel a little bit better now. So I'm gonna light a candle. I'm gonna sit down with my now cold coffee and get to reading. Okay, bye. I didn't end up reading as much of this yesterday as I had intended. I'm page 141, which is about 60% of the way in, and I am really liking this. Very similar to the movie, which I'm enjoying. We have Dr. Montague. He is basically conducting an experiment, a study in haunted houses. I think just basically trying to figure out what makes a house a haunted house. Is it people having psychic episodes? They've talked about weird water being underneath the land. They've talked about like electric fields. So he reached out to a number of people, but the people that he reached out to are people who had like weird experiences, except for the one guy. The one guy, he is actually a family member of the people who currently own Hill House. They don't live there, but they own it. And that was kind of one of the stipulations, is Dr. Montague could rent the house out for however long he's conducting the experiment if one of the family members was there. Luke is part of the family that owns the house currently. So anyways, Dr. Montague reached out to a number of people. Theodora and Eleanor were the only people that reached out. They are all at this house. For the most part, there's been a couple of things that have happened. I think this is really just like the era in which this book was written, but there's a lot of comedic relief, a lot of banter going on with the characters. I think like modern day, you would almost think of it as like sarcastic flirting. They're making light of things. Very funny, very sarcastic banter. I don't think it'll be a 5-star, probably definitely a 4-star. I think the audiobook says I have like 3 hours left, but I'm listening to it on 2 times speed, so I should be done within an hour and a half. I'm done with this now. I'm going to give it 4 stars. In my last update, I was just talking about how it was pretty similar to the movie. Shortly after I said that, it started to veer off. Really like the movie. I really like what they did, how they went about the story. I feel like they explained things a lot better. Whereas the book, I'm left with a lot of questions. So the book wasn't as exciting as I was anticipating. In a way, I am kind of bummed, kind of disappointed, but I still enjoyed the book for what it was. It definitely takes a look at what a haunted house is and if there are actual like physical hauntings versus psychological effects on people that maybe just make you think something is happening, but at the same time, you don't really know. Overall, this was really good. Pretty atmospheric, I would say. But this is definitely a case of the movie is better than the book. This was the last book for the Upside Down Readathon. So aside from DNFing the Whispering Pine, I read all of the books that I intended to for that readathon. I still have to finish The Broken Girls as well as Piranesi. I don't know if I'm going to finish that. We'll see. I might just try to finish The Broken Girls. I don't know what I'm going to do. I might end it here or I might read some more. I guess we'll find out in the next clip. Okay, welcome back to Intro Me. This is now Outro Me. So this was a crazy time because I was trying to participate in 3 different readathons at the same time. I did a lot of overlapping for these prompts, and that's okay. There was absolutely no way that I was going to be able to read one book for every prompt. Since the readathon wrapped up, and actually since September wrapped up, I did actually finish reading The Broken Girls. I gave it 3 stars. I have this problem with Simone St. James. I've read 3 books by her now. One of them I've started twice. It was The Haunting of Maddie Clare. I've started that one 2 different times. DNF'd it about halfway through both times. It's like the story starts really good, really interesting, really spooky, atmospheric. I like the writing, but then ultimately the story kind of loses me. I lose interest. It kind of isn't as fast-paced as I need, I think. It was good. I would recommend it pretty widely to people, but for me it was only a 3-star. I guess I should do a quick recap of the books and what I rated them. The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson, I rated this 4 stars. Bunny by Mona Awad, I rated this 2 stars. Cackle by Rachel Harrison, I rated this 4 stars. And The Broken Girls by Simone St. James, and I rated this one 3 stars. So the Sleep When I'm Dead readathon, the prompts were to read a favorite color on the cover. I do love orange, so this one satisfies that prompt. And then for a book recommended to you and a past book club pick, that is satisfied by The Broken Girls. Again, I did not read this during the time of the readathon. I read it later, but I'm still going to count it because I started it for the readathon, and at this point I have finished it, so I do want to at least include it. The Losers Club readathon, for the king card, a book influenced by BookTok or BookTube, that would be Bunny. There are so many influencers in the bookish community that love this book, rave about it. As you saw, unfortunately, not for me, and that's okay. A book with an isolated setting. A book with an isolated setting was going to be for Piranesi. I did start Piranesi. I actually started it after I finished reading Bunny. Going from one weird book to another one, I just couldn't do it. For the hotel prompt, I did not complete it because I DNF'd the book. For the cemetery, a paranormal or supernatural book. That was satisfied by The Haunting of Hill House. The Queen card, a book with a female main character. And that's Bunny, or also Cackle would have satisfied that as well. And a book with a one-word title, Cackle or Bunny. And finally, for the upside down readathon prompts, read a book with food on the cover, satisfied by Cackle. There is a cup of tea on the cover of this one. Read a book that takes place during fall or Halloween. Bunny takes place right in the fall. Prompt number 3, read a book with nostalgic vibes. Haunting of Hill House satisfies that one. I chose this book for that prompt because I grew up watching The Haunting. I love that movie, and that's what prompted me to read this one. Read a host buddy read based on your favorite character. I chose Liv's character, which was Hopper, and for that they read Whispering Pines. Unfortunately, I could not get into that book and I did DNF it. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please remember to like and subscribe, and until next time, bye!